Yep, thanks everybody for coming out. Can you guys hear me right now? Sounding better? Okay, awesome. Hey, look, Marion's from New York. We're getting a few more people, not just jumping on here, but also telling us where they're from. I'm really excited to have Willie Miranda. He is actually one of the first people I met up in Albany, in the Albany area when I moved up there. I love this guy. He knows exactly how to sell real estate and to build a real estate brokerage company. And that being said, Willie, I'm just going to hand it over to you because if these people don't listen to you and take your advice, they're crazy.
Well, thank you, Don. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's been a great ride. I mean, I've been in the business now for going on 25 years, 26 years. I don't even remember anymore. The years just keep going by. But I've been through a lot of changes in the market. The early 2000s, and then again in 08, 09, and then here we are again with a change in the marketplace. And I love change. I mean, every market that has changed like that, I've always done better. And the reason for that is because you're going to have people that are focused on change and embrace change, and then you're going to have people that fight it. And if you're not learning, right, like being on this webinar today, like if you're not learning, you're not growing. And I think that so many agents out there that I see that are struggling is because they just have this tunnel vision on what their real estate market has been and how the business has been over the years, and they don't want to change. And the more that they adapt, the better that they are. But the reason why I wanted to bring up this topic, and I've been going out and speaking to a lot of agents all over the country with this presentation, is that the basics always do work though, right? You have change, but then you have also the foundation or the basics that you have to have in your marketing and in your production and your process of selling real estate, that if you have that basic format down and that foundation, you'll do great in it no matter what market you're in. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. There's 5 key areas that I want to touch on, and I'll go through some of the slides fairly quickly, but I will make the slides available, Dawn, for you if you want to disperse, or if anyone requests for a copy of them, I'd be more than happy to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation for today. A little background on myself. I was in, and I still own and operate an Allstate agency in 1995, and then in 1998 I got into real estate, opened up my own company in 2002. I started coaching real estate agents back in 06, and I still have many coaching members that I coach today. We became the #1 team in real estate team in the Capital District back in 2009 and 2010. We've been the #1 independent brokerage in the Capital District, based in the Capital District, since 2015. And to present, we've sold over 12,000 homes. I think we're pushing almost close to 13,000 homes with $2.5 billion of sales volume. So last year, I'm very proud to say, and I might have said this before, but I'm going to keep working it, was named 2022 G-Car Realtor of the Year out of almost 4,000 agents here locally. So I'm very proud of that. And it's probably one of the best awards that I've gotten. And the reason for that is because it was selected by a lot of my peers and the people that I work with. And I've been able to give back like I'm giving back here, giving you guys information, teaching, training, and doing a lot of things in my local marketplace. So I'm going to share with you some of those different items that I've been going around the country talking about, and hopefully you guys take a lot of notes today. So today's agenda, like I said, is getting back to the basics. What are the things that we have to do? And some of these things you might say, well, I already do that. That's great. How can you go a little bit deeper? What I found by speaking to a lot of people, they're like, I used to do that and it used to work, but I stopped doing it. Why did I stop doing it, right? And then some people are just kind of clueless and they're like, yeah, I never even saw that approach. I never saw that as being something that's important for me to do, because sometimes they think it's maybe old school, right? Or it's not shiny and new. And that's the part that I see with real estate, is that there's so many shiny objects out there. And just when you get something going, this starts happening. Or just when this database is going, a new database comes out, CRM system. And then people think, well, I got to have this CRM system because it does this and that. And you have to make sure you're careful of changing too soon, because the basics, like I said, once you have the basics and you have those working, like people say, what's the best database? Well, the best database is the one that you use. I know some very successful top agents have used the same database for 20 years, 20 plus years, and they don't go and jump every time a new product comes out, if that makes sense. So, so today's agenda, what I want to talk about is lead generation in your database. That being number one. That's the engine that runs your business. Number two, working with buyers and the importance of that, especially now. And there's some things that are happening in the marketplace now. We're seeing a lot more buyers coming out. Interest rates are, not at the 9 and 10% that they predicted that it would be this time or last time, this time around. And now you're looking at, last I just checked, it was 6.25 on a 30-year, right? 6.25 on a 30-year is a pretty good rate. So a lot of buyers are coming out now. The problem is that we don't have a ton of listings across the country, but we're starting to see more and more listings. So hopefully I'm going to show you a couple things on how to get more listings. But working with buyers is definitely something, and having that process, very, very important. Number three, working with sellers, right? How to not only attract sellers, how to, cultivate and prospect for them, but then what do you say during and after the presentation? Negotiations, number four. This is a big piece, right? A lot of people hire us because of our expertise or our experience, but really from our negotiating skills. And to give you an example, I had a property that I had on the market last week for $750,000. The people were going to take an offer from a neighbor for $750,000, and I said, why would you do that? Like, I think there's a way that we can put it out there on the marketplace, create the demand, create the marketing, and maybe give you a lot more than $750,000. Yeah, it's easier just to go with your neighbor, but let's try this. And long and short, we ended up doing that, marketing it, got it out there. I had 11 offers, negotiated on all these different levels. We ended up getting over 800,000, well over 800,000. I won't disclose the actual amount yet, but well over 800,000. So do you think that seller's pretty happy? Absolutely. Came down to negotiating. We had a roof issue a couple weeks ago, and the seller was willing to all right, I'll just give him $20,000 for a roof. And we said, no, let's not do that. Let's see what it is. Let's fix the leak. It was a certain part of the roof. We ended up taking care of it. Cost my seller $5,000, right? But he was willing to pay $20,000. But how do you do this? You do this with experience. You do this with negotiation. And there's some different tools and some books that I'll refer to you here in a minute of really owning that and really understanding the power of negotiating. And that's the value that you bring. And that's the confidence that you have to bring to your buyers and sellers, that the reason why they want to work with me is because I'm going to negotiate the best deal when buying a home and also when selling your home. And then the fifth one, which I think is the most important, is this is the glue, right? This is the glue that really keeps everything together, is coaching, training, and accountability. I just hung up with one of my agents here about an hour ago, and we were talking about the importance of her getting on the phone every 2 weeks with a coach and making sure that she's accountable, right? And I gave her the analogy. I said, it's just like getting a trainer at a gym, right? If you have to go and get weighed every week or every other week, and you have to report what you're eating and when your workouts are and everything else, you're going to see success. Same thing in real estate. So I'll give you a couple examples of that as to what you can do, whether you have money for coaching or you don't. There's some options for you there. So this chart here I always like to show because I think that getting back to the basics, I see a lot of agents that are still transactional agents, right? They just go from one deal to the next. They tend to waste a lot of time. They just throw money at different things. They don't really know what their return on investment is. They have no client loyalty because once they get that sell and that check at the closing, they never even talk to the people again. Their lead conversion's down. They're ripe and rotten. They're not on webinars like this trying to improve and grow their business. And these are the ones that have low profit margins and agent burnout. And these are the agents that you're seeing leave the business right now, are the transactional agents, because they don't have a database. They don't have a process for attracting buyers and sellers. Now, on the other hand, you have what's called career agents, and that's who I really focus on coaching, and that's who I focus on for my company. I want career agents, and I let people go. We let 11 people go at the end of the year last year. They weren't coming to training. They weren't showing up. They were a liability to me. So we just asked them nicely to, reintroduce them to the market. There's other companies out there that you could go park your license. But if you're going to be here, we want career agents. We want people that want to grow their business. So what does a career agent look like? They have great time management skills. They know their numbers. They have repeat and referral business. I was talking to one of my agents the other day, 82% of her business last year came from repeat and referral business. Why? Because she's been following our systems for the last 8 years. They have a systematic database with high conversion rates. They're green and growing. They're listening to podcasts and coming onto webinars like this and getting the training that's needed. And then these are the ones that have higher profit margins and have a successful business. So that's the difference. So the question I want you to ask yourself today and focus on is, do you want to be a transactional agent for the rest of your career, or do you want to be a career agent? And there's really not really a good combination of the two, because a lot of people say, I kind of feel like I'm a combination of the two. Well, what side do you want to be on? And that's really what you want to focus on and start chipping away at, because it does take time, but you can obviously set up a lot of great systems pretty quickly if you focus on the right things. So let's talk about lead generation and database, because that is the fuel, right? Without leads, without having that database, you have no business. If you don't have a database, you don't have a business. I've been saying it for years, and I'm going to continue to say it, because that is your business, right? When you go to sell your business down the road, or you go to retire, what's your asset, right? You're only as good as your next deal. But if you have a great database that you're nurturing and you're feeding and you're cultivating over the years, that's an asset that you can sell to another agent coming in, and maybe they give you a referral. I have three agents now that have retired here in the last 5 years, and they still receive residual income from their databases, right? Because what they've done is introduce newer agents, they partner with other agents, and they kind of tiptoe into retirement. But anything that comes from that database, they're getting a 25% referral fee forever. And it's been working out really good. So think about that moving forward. What is your asset in your business, right? And if
Willie,
you don't
let me just ask you a question.
Sure.
On this database question
Yep.
here. I know what a database is, and I think people generally know what a database is. But can you explain how a new agent coming in would build up? And I'm gonna rename that database your contacts. Who are your connections? So would you give us some how we're going to get that information if we don't have that yet?
Yeah, so I'll just give you an example of my wife. My wife just started. She was a 30-year teacher, got her real estate license last year, and she's building her database. And the way she's doing that, Dawn, is that she picked a CRM, right? A client relationship management software program. And there's a ton of them out there. You got Top Producer, we use Follow Up Boss. There's Realty Juggler, it all depends. Brian Buffini has Referral Maker. So she's got Follow Up Boss. And now in that database, there's spots in there that she could put name, email, phone number, address, all that stuff. And she's tagging it. So she went in and she started with her phone, looked at all the contacts in her phone. She wanted those people in her database. She went on her Facebook page, started looking at that. Who don't I have now? Here's her database now of all the people on her phone. Now she went to her Facebook page, started putting those people in there. And she just started building it that way. Then when she got to a couple hundred people in there, now she's reaching out to them, getting their current email address, if she doesn't have a cell phone. And she's been using Messenger through Facebook. She's been using texting if she has just their phone number but not their email address. And she's building that out because, Dawn, I think an important piece here is that, how can I say it nicely, but crap in, crap out, right? In other words, if you put bad stuff into this database or not current, accurate information, then you're not going to be able to get the benefits from that database in the future. So the better your information going in, the better results you're going to have coming out. So that's really what a database is. It's really a list of client relationships that you have and people that you have in one segment so that you can nurture them, you can send them information pretty quickly versus trying to do one-on-one. I just sent out an email the other day to 3,000 agents in my agent database, and I had a 64% open rate, which is pretty good. Now, imagine how long it would take me to pick up the phone and call all those agents. I wouldn't be able to do it. But because I have them in a database, I now give them information and able to do that to get a much better response rate. So that's what a database is. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but for anyone new, they need to definitely start investigating and start looking more into creating their own database and then starting with just one person and then go to two and then three. And, one of the things that we do in our office, it's 5 a day. The activity is 5 a day. So if you put 5 people in your database every day and you do that 5 days a week, that's 25 a week, that's 100 a month, that's 1,200 over the course of the year, you're going to be very successful by starting with 5 contacts a day.
And where are we getting these 5? Just people we know or asking people for referrals?
Yeah, so you don't want just random people in that database to start, right? People do business with who they know, like, and trust, right? I've said that for 100, I don't want to say 100 years, but for many, many years, right? I picked that up from someone else. But it is true. People do business with they know, like, and trust. So I want to be able to have you, Dawn, start building your database. But if I was able to pick up the phone and call that person and say, hey, do you know Dawn? They need to say yes. Oh yeah, I know her, or I know of her, but not, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's not really someone in your database. That's more of a prospect than it is a potential client, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and let me just throw in there just for a second. The last month, there were 2 different episodes of Ask the Experts that goes into digital marketing, and that takes a way deeper dive in how to turn potential prospects and actually cultivate them to a point where they do know you a little bit better. They do say, yes, I know Dawn. But so if you guys are interested in learning more on that side of things, I definitely recommend. Obviously, Willie's given great stuff. But right after this, go to our YouTube channel, go to our website, and actually check out some of those digital marketing videos, because turning a prospect into a solid lead and a solid future customer, there is some finesse to it. But anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's right here on the screen, right? It's building that trust, and they want to know you, they want to like you, but they want to trust you. And the way you do that, Nick, is exactly what you just said, is you got to educate them, right? You got to give them value and educate them. And that's how they're going to trust you, because you're giving them valuable information on buying or selling a home. And that's how they get, how you build that trust. But you're not going to do that if you don't have a way to reach out to them on a consistent basis. All right, so some of the different ways of lead gen, and I wrote about this in my book, and I'll give you guys access to a free PDF copy at the end of how to get a hold of or a copy of my book. But it's these 4 are the basics, right? There's tons of other lead pillars that are out there, but I'm just giving you 4 basics right now. Number 1, your COI, or your center of influence. This is going to be your best business. These are the people that know you, like you, and trust you the most. You want to make sure you have that database, like I just mentioned, as one of those pillars. The second pillar, and I think Nick was alluding to this, is that you need to have some type of online presence, right? You need to have some type of online marketing that's going on. So whether that's Facebook, or whether it's getting on buying Zillow leads or OpCity leads, or doing different things out there, a website that you're going to market yourself and drive traffic to, Google pay-per-click leads. This is what's going to drive in prospects, potential clients to you. And it's a lot colder, right? You might have to go through 10, 20 names to get one good sale from it. But once you get that, now they become a client. Now they go into your COI database. But the only way you're going to build that database, because you run out of names, right? Like my wife's like, I already got a couple hundred people. And the average person knows 285 people. That's the average. The average person knows 285 people. So, I said to her, I said, if you get 100 people in your database, that's potentially 28,500 people that, you may have access to, or the conversation in real estate may come up. You want to be the go-to realtor that when that person hears a real estate conversation, they think of you, right? So that's one way to present as far as building your database and increasing it, is by doing online marketing. You can also do offline marketing, right? We have a lot of agents having a lot of success with going back to direct mail. Direct mail is not dead. A lot of people got away from direct mail because of the cost, and because, hey, social media is here and I can send, do all these things on social media to get business. But that's getting kind of saturated now. Now it's a lot of noise out there. But when something now comes in the mailbox, again, it's got to be something of value, right? So I like letters going out, or information on stats, market value, stuff like that, information on their home. Those things are going to get open and they're going to get kept, and they have what we call shelf life. People are not going to throw it away because it has information on their home, their neighborhood. People want to know what their home's worth, what their neighbor's home is worth, or what they sold for, and they want to know community events. Like that's the type of stuff that you want to market offline to get your name out there. And there's a lot of people that are not scrolling, right? I know there's a lot of my in-laws don't scroll online. I have friends that don't scroll online, but they read their mail. They still read newspapers every day. You can get them offline. And then social media. Social media is definitely here to stay, and the big four platforms, I've mentioned them before that we'll probably talk about. It's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So here's some examples of the center of influence, right? Being able to have that database, being able to categorize them as a VIP client, someone's your biggest raving fan, to an A client, B client, C client. And we have I could do a whole other segment on how we do that, what they mean. But an A client is a little bit better than a B client. A C client is going to be like people that you meet in an open house. You don't really have anything really built up, but you're trying to build them up the chain to be a B and an A client. So there's a whole formula to that. But we really try to get you to get up to 250 if we can in relationships, right? And that's what a CRM is. It's a database of relationships that you have. And then we have what we call an 18 touch system where we send out 12 newsletters a year. So every month we send 4 postcards out to that list, and we send them 2 texts or calls. So I like to text them on their birthdays. I like to send them a video email on their birthday. And then I like to call and check in on them once a year just to see how things are going and if they would want a home evaluation and see if they have any plans of making a move in 2023. We just sent a huge email blast out, and it was one sentence. Are you looking to make a move, buy or sell a home in 2023? Are you looking to buy or sell a home in 2023? That was it. Sincerely, Willie Miranda. You send that out to your database, I guarantee you, is not failed. You will get people to respond back, either saying, yes, I am, no, I'm not, worse yet, I already bought or I already sold. But people will respond to you. And this is how you bring that big list of prospects that you may have, right? Talk to some agents that have 30, 40,000 prospects in their database. Take all those names, send them an email, have the cream of the crop come to the top, and that's how you prospect that. All right, so that's number one, center of influence. And we talked about the CRM. Here's some examples for you right there. KV Core, Follow Up Boss, Top Producer, Wise Agent, Market Leader, Realty Juggler, right? You just want one. You don't need a ton of them. But remember the quote here on the left side, and this came from Dave Jenks from the Millionaire Agent book. Your success or failure in the real estate business is in direct proportion to the number of people that are in your database that when they think of real estate, they think of you. Think about it. If you don't have a database and you're not emailing people out on a regular basis, you are a secret agent, right? And it may seem cool to be a secret agent, but not in real estate. You want people to know who you are. You need to be that mayor. You need to be the hub of people. And you need to be always providing them with valuable information about what's going on in the marketplace, tips on buying a home, tips on selling a home, those type of things. So that's what the database does. And these are some examples of ones that you can get right here.
Willie, that's the key right there, what you just said, about providing valuable information. Because I know a lot of people are probably sitting there and they're listening and they're going, I hate these spam emails and the spam calls and the texts, and I can't stand it. It's like they just fill up my inbox and, get away from me.
Yeah.
But think about what you keep. There is some emails that I get that I'll never put that person into spam because they provide me with something that I need.
Right.
So I think that's what we need to train people to do and start telling is, like, what are you bringing to the table? And you really need to be like, are you the expert on your area? Are you talking about, hey, look, there was a new restaurant that opened up and I tried it and it was great. I mean, people want information like, oh, you tried the new restaurant? Was it any good? People want stuff like that. So just think about what you keep and then make that information available to your audience.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually in the process now of just building it out. And I like to see, maybe we could do that as a poll or just put it out there in the chat right now. Here's what I'm thinking. You guys let me know if you're interested in it. But I was part of a mastermind group we call it Email Millions is the name of the mastermind group. And basically what it is the mentor in this group did a email once a week that he copywrote it and shared it with his mastermind group. And then they would send it out to their database. So I want to do the same thing for real estate agents, where once a week for 52 weeks, it's 1 year program, I will design the email, write the email, exactly what to send out to your database. And then I'll do one call a month like this, going over some of the benefits of it and how to do it, and just more of a training call, and do it more of a mastermind. And again, to be in a group format. But wouldn't that be pretty cool, Don, if I was actually writing all these emails for everyone to actually put out every week, so I don't have to think about it, and use the ones that have gotten the most response rate and most engagement. And some of them are not anything fancy. Some of them are just a couple line emails like I just gave you as an example. But I think that by doing that, I think we'd have more agents participate. And, I asked some people, what do you think it would be worth? And some were like, wow, my God, it'd be worth thousands of dollars. But I know if I did it for thousands of dollars, most people wouldn't sign up, right? Because they don't see the value in it. So I'm thinking about making it very, very inexpensive, probably like, $100 a month or something like that, $1,200 over the course of the year. But imagine if you got 52 emails from me every week that you could send out to your database and jump on a call with me for 12 hours, 1 hour a month, and be able to do these training calls. I think that's very valuable.
Let's ask the chat.
What's that?
Let's ask the chat.
Yeah, let's ask the chat. Is that
if you
something
guys are,
again, no one's
would you guys
committed to
respond
anything,
to
but is there a benefit of that?
yeah, do you see a benefit of somebody writing the material for you? Yeah. So I think when people are writing the material for you, it makes it a lot easier. You get it. You go, oh man, I don't have to think about what to do. But if you do want to come up with your own stuff, just think about yourself.
Yeah.
What do you keep? What information would you like to get?
Right.
And then go find that information and give it to other people.
Yeah, and I'll give people, I'll tell them what software to do, because it's going to be a separate software than our database, not to confuse you, but keeping it separate so that you don't get spammed and stuff like that on your own email. But there's some dialogue on there that if we get enough interest and enough people to raise their hand, we'll put something together and roll it out here in the next month or so for the people that you have here on your list and who are attending these calls. Okay, building your list. People, I don't know anyone. I had an agent a couple months ago come to me, and 2 weeks later we circled back, and she has 20 names in her database because I don't know anyone. And I'm like, you got 1,500 people, friends that you're with on Facebook. Your phone is filled with all kinds of people, and you only got 20 people. And she goes, well, I really don't know anyone that's really looking to buy or sell. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. You're not going to know. If that was that easy, we'd all be successful. But don't put people in your database of people that you only think that are going to buy or sell a home in the next year. You're putting your database together of all the people that you know, and it doesn't matter if they're looking to buy or sell. I mean, it'd be nice, but it's who they know that's looking to buy or sell is what we're really looking for, right? Every person knows 285 people.
Oh, Willie, not just that, but why don't you just tell them to build their list with everyone that they know who lives somewhere?
Right.
And there you go. Because all of those people are going to move eventually, even if you help them with a rental.
Yeah. And if you look at this list, right, what are people from your old job, hobbies, civic activities, your attorney, your veterinarian, dentist, doctor, jeweler. I mean, there's so many people that we pay money to, and you can put them on your list, right? Send them information, right? Like you just said, Don, I had another agent who moved from Nevada to Florida, and she's like, I don't know anyone in Florida. I'm like, that's okay. What about all the people? Oh, I know tons of people in Nevada. Great, put them all on your list, because you could still help them in Nevada. Even though you live in Florida, you could still help them by referring them in a relocation network, right? We all part of a relocation network, whether we like it or not. And you're going to get a 25% referral fee. So there's so many ways to do it, but there's more excuses on why not to do it than to do it. And again, like I said, if you want to be successful in real estate, you have to continually grow that database. And the bigger that database becomes, the more successful you're going to be, because more and more people are going to know what you do. Okay, videos. Videos work, and just take a quick second on this. People say, well, what do I send? I don't know what kind of videos to send. What should I send out there? Real quick, week 1, real estate market update, right? People love what's going on in the market, right? We're in a great profession. Like everyone asks me all the time, oh, how's the market? How's the market? How's the market, right? You guys get that also. I got a buddy of mine that's a plumber, right? He never gets questions about his thing, right? They're like, what are they going to ask? What's the latest pipe wrench? It's I don't want to put plumbers down, but
It doesn't change.
my point is that it doesn't. That's it. But for us, everyone wants to know, right? Because their biggest asset is usually the home that they own. So
And
of
it's
course they want to
dynamic. It's
know, but
constantly
no one's
moving.
reaching out to them on a consistent basis, giving them the value of their home, right? Their financial guy reaches out to them every year. Their accountant reaches out to them every year. The list goes on and on, but their biggest assets are home. And we as real estate agents fail because we're not giving them, providing them with what the market value of their home is every year, right? You could run a quick CMA report or RPR report you could send over to them every year. So that's that one phone call a year is asking them if they're looking to buy or sell and if they would like an updated value of their home. So here's the videos, Dawn, that we do. Once a month, we send on a market real estate update. It's a 6-7 minute video. Really just says, here's what's going on. I pick 4 stats. Usually here's new listings, here's pending, here's close, and here's list to sales ratio, right? We'll talk about that and what it means for a buyer and what does it mean for a seller. And that's it. So that video is done. You can probably go to my YouTube page, Willie Miranda YouTube page, and look around on that. But that's the real estate market update. And then number 2, a seller tip, a seller story, a seller Q&A. That people love that stuff. People love stories, right? Stories sell. People love stories. You guys are involved in working with sellers every week, every month. It could be something that happened a year ago, whatever. Share those stories on a video. Again, 2-3 minutes. Number 3, interview a referral partner on subject matter, right? There's mold issues, there's radon issues, there's roof inspection issues. Have an inspector, interview an inspector, lender, right? What is how much is, what are the newest products out there? How does this 3-2-1 buy down work in today's market? You don't need to be the expert. Interview the expert, but you look like the expert because you're bringing it to their attention and you're interviewing on the subject matter. And then number 4, buyer tips, buyer stories, buyer Q&A. That's simple. And if you don't know or don't have any content, just Google it. Buyer tips for buyers buying a home. You'll get 17, 20 different tips on buying a home. There's 17 videos. Just do a video on each one. That's it. And you get that out to your database. And I'll tell you, the ones that are doing this, it's changed the lives of so many of my agents by then incorporating video. Some people say, I don't like the way I look and my voice, and I want to lose 10 pounds. Get over it. Get over it. It's what we look like, right? You guys go on listing appointments looking like that, right? What's the difference if you go on a video? Same thing, right? And I always get a chuckle out of the crowd from it because it is true. Like, this is how we show up, right? This is who we are. And but I think it's more of an excuse than not doing, but it has a lot of value on doing these videos.
We're more critical of ourselves than other people are of us.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And people need to get over that. You're 100% right. Don't worry about it. Who cares what they think?
Yeah, but that's easy to say when you're studly like Willie or Dawn.
All right, so I'm gonna put the gas on the pedal a little bit because we got a lot of material to cover, and I don't want to run out of time. And then I'll answer any questions at the end. And like I said, all these copies will be available to everyone. But pillar number 2 was online marketing, and here are some different ones on here, right? Zillow, Realtor.com, Bowl Leads, Commissions Inc., UpNest, HomeLight. Sign up for all of these, guys. Sign up for all of these leads because that lead now, because even if you have to give 40% up, who cares? Give the 40% up. You just created a relationship now with a client that you sold a house to. Yeah, maybe you didn't make 100%, but you made 60% commission. But then what happens when that person goes to buy or sell 2-3 years from now? You get 100% of that. What happens when you do a great job with that client and now they refer you to 4 of their family members? That's all 100% to you, right? I mean, you got to pay your broker fee, but my point is that you're not giving that referral fee up. And there's a lot of short-minded agents like, I don't take Op City leads because I got to give 35, 40% back. I'm like, you know what? Send them this way because I got a lot of agents right here that are willing to take those. So think about that when you're going into, so sign up for all those UpNest and HomeLights and all of them and get signed up with them. Offline. Great.
No, not less than half the cost. I was going to mention that too. Open listings are something that we do where we let you do it, but a lot of the other MLSs don't let you do it. And what we do with the open listings is, let's just say you approach a FSBO, for sale by owner, and they're just adamant, nope, 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 I'm not going to list an exclusive listing with you, I'm not going to do it. Well, you know what, offer them, just say, listen, well, what if I bring you a buyer? Will you pay me a commission if I bring you a buyer? You're usually going to get a yes there. And all right, well, would you give me permission to advertise it for you? Now you've got yourself an open listing. Now, where can you put that? You can put it in My State MLS, and like Realtor.com and Zillow and those places, they don't take open listings because they're all about, you know, the co-broke and selling the lead and everything. But you can put it on My State, and we have a special space for that, which generates leads for you. And we actually teach you how to then put that listing on Facebook, how to spend a little bit of money, a tiny drop of money, to generate a huge amount of leads. I have somebody doing this right now, and she's generating a huge amount of leads. In the last year and a half, she's probably sold over $7 million in open listings. And she is killing it, literally killing it. I think she's collected 170 grand so far, and she spent $50 a month on open listings.
That's great. I'm going to follow up with that because I have
ROI.
one in particular that a buddy of mine that's doing FSBO right now. Believe that?
Huge ROI.
And I'll definitely have to see about that. All right. So offline marketing, guys gave you a couple examples here. Start with your farm your neighborhoods, farm your neighborhoods, farm your neighborhoods, unless you don't like your neighborhood. But my point on that is that it doesn't suck coming home, working a hard day, and just seeing another sign in your neighborhood. And you're like, why didn't they call me? Well, they don't know that you do real estate. It's probably why. So farming your neighborhood is so important. People do want to do business. But again, know, like, and trust, and someone that's local. All right, but there's a lot of different examples there. You can send out newsletter. Here's an example of one of my newsletters that we send out. Looks a little busy here, but basically it's a What's Up with Willie on the left side, kind of telling about what's going on and what my travels are, pictures of my family, etc. We go over some market stats on the next page, what's going on in the marketplace. We go over some solds. We go over some charity work that we do for the community, some testimonials. You can't see it on page 3, but in that one right corner, top right corner, you see Sherry in blue there. And that's Sherry's recipe corner. That's my wife who does a recipe every month. And then we send that out. But people love this newsletter. They respond to it. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone on listing appointments in my neighborhood, because I send it to my neighborhood too, where people feel they already know who I am. They know about my kids. They know about my wife. They use some of her recipes. It actually gets a little annoying when I'm walking in the neighborhood and they start asking her questions about certain things in a crock pot recipe or something like that. But my point is that this newsletter is how you really develop that trust, know, like, and trust with your neighborhoods and geographic farms.
Hey, Willie, and I just wanted to mention, I'll be super quick. I know you're running, I know you're pushing it. But My State, we're also introducing a communities feature here very shortly, and we'll talk more about that later. But I just wanted to mention a lot of this neighborhood marketing, community-centric marketing, we're also creating outlets for agents to engage with specific areas.
That's great. All right, that's good to know. Here's a postcard. Again, if you had an award at your company, or you had some type of thing that you want to put out there, I thought I'd leverage Realtor of the Year. We sent this out, sent it. We got 4 calls off this, and one we listed and sold already. It was already under contract, so it worked so good. We're going to send it out again next month. Geographic farming to your mailing to your farm. Like I said, if you want to send out RPR letters, I have some agents that are doing 5 RPRs a day in our neighborhood. So Marina and Dan Page are agents of mine, 5 a day each. So husband-wife team, and they've been sending 5 out, 25 a week. It's 100 a month. Already they've had 4 listings, and they haven't even done it for a month yet. They were just sharing their success on our Monday Mastermind call by sending this cover letter with an RPR out 5 times a day.
Well, Willie, I like to add to that. Now, I'm a realtor. I have RPR, and I've used it too. But in My State, we have a nice, beautiful CMA package. So for the people, because not everyone's a realtor who uses My State. Mm-hmm. So if you're not a realtor and you don't have access to RPR, you can use the CMA program and our Pro Search tool. And I have an entire video on that. And you can make those 5 letters in My State.
Perfect. All right. I have a buyer letter. You guys have seen that. Some people are like, oh, I don't like that letter. But if you have a buyer, and if you're just, like I asked an agent a couple weeks ago, she didn't like, I said, did you send any letters out? She goes, I don't really like to do that. I'm like, okay, well, you have a buyer. They want to live in a specific neighborhood. What are you doing to help them? Well, I'm just waiting on the MLS, check it out every day and nothing's coming up. I said, you need to be proactive. If you're sitting on it waiting for that to pop up in MLS, you're not being proactive. Shame on you. I said, send a letter out like this, send it out to that neighborhood, and people that are looking to sell are going to call you. So she did. She got 4 leads. 4 leads. I think.
Of course, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I think there was 330 homes, and she got 4 leads. And she's talking to one of the leads to put one of her cash buyers relocating here into it. So, I mean, it works. It works in New Jersey. It works in Florida. Works in Arizona. That's just some of my coaching members that have used it and had success off it as well. But here's a great little letter, handwritten letter, and then you make copies of it in the copier. So it looks handwritten, and we put it in black marker and just let it go. If you don't want to, got bad handwriting, then type it up like this. This is one of our coaching members, Frances, down in Florida. She did it. She got 1,100 homes she sent it out to. She got 3 listings from it. She was able to place one of her buyers, and she got 2 other listings from it. And then that's the one on the right that I've sold. I've probably 6 different listings I was able to get off of this one letter on the right, sending that out. But it went out to a lot more people. I think about 5,000.
And what it cost you? What'd you spend?
About $1 a piece, because I go through a company.
So $1,100, and if you had 3 sales off of that, say maybe, I don't know, just even if it was $5,000 a piece that you got back on it, it's $15,000.
I made 40,000 on one of them.
You made 40,000 on one of them?
Yeah,
people are crazy not to do that.
Yeah, it was over
so
$1 million.
Even
over $1 million, and I got both sides.
Right. So what's your ROI on that?
Yeah, pretty good.
It's humongous.
Yeah. So you could use these letters. Again, I'm just giving you guys ideas, right? Like going back to the basics. This stuff works. Direct mail works, but they're not doing it. If you want to use Every Door Direct Mailing, look it up. EDDM.com through the post office. You can hit doors for as low as 20 cents a piece, I think, 19 cents a piece. I don't know what it is. My staff does it. But here are some, again, it was a little letter on me. I sent it out to my neighborhood. Here are all the homes that I sold in my career. And here's a free book for more information. But what gets people held up? Oh, I don't have a book, so I can't use this. Then send them a flyer, send them a brochure, send them nothing. Put a testimonial there. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not Realtor of the Year. It doesn't matter. Take that out and put something else or a longer letter. My point is that you want to get this out in the mailboxes. Social media, real quick. Facebook, right? Just listed. You guys seen this before. Testimonials. Put that on there. Instagram, do the same thing. YouTube, you want a YouTube channel so you can host all your videos on YouTube. Unless you get Vimeo or something like that, you could pay. But if you want a free source, YouTube is very good. LinkedIn, again, you don't want to be posting, dance videos or anything like that, but that's more a professional platform. But you could still show them that you're making a difference and giving money to charity like Carol is here, or that you sold, or you have a market update. People love that. And they're going to be a much better audience because most of them have jobs, professional, educated, and why not? Why not get in front of them on LinkedIn? Okay, working with buyers. Again, I'm going to go through these next 2 quickly so we can wrap up. You definitely want to have a buyer profile form, so you're filling out information when you're working with the buyer. What questions to ask them on the right. You can't really read that too well, but it's like, what's really important to you? What are your primary reasons for searching for a new home? Are you downsizing, upsizing? What are some of the different things that you need in a property? So it's important when you're meeting with them, right? Old school is just going back to the basics, sitting down with them, having that buyer interview, right? Too many agents are just showing up to the doorstep, if they get a Zillow lead or whatever, and then if they don't like the house, then that's it. They go to the next one, transactional. What if you said to them, all right, well, that house didn't work for you. Why don't we go back to my office and I'll pull out a list of anything that's available for you now, and what I want to be able to get this information from you so that not only can I find you properties that are on market, but I want to also search off market, because in this market so competitive, if you're just sitting on MLS waiting for everyone else, you're going to keep getting beat out. You think buyers
Willie,
want
just-
think buyers want to hear a little bit more what you have to say? Absolutely. Now you sit with them and do an actual buyer appointment and go through
If
the
people are
process.
looking for that, if people are looking for that buyer question thing, in my state under contacts, just go into contacts, add a contact, and we've got basically what you have there on the screen right inside the software.
Okay.
So if they're looking for what questions to ask.
All right, a plan, right? Some new buyers and some buyers, even if they haven't bought a house in 20 years, they want to know what the plan is. I just had a couple, they were in their 70s, and Trish and I, Friday, were on a listing appointment, and we have one for listings too, but she said, I said, well, I'm sure you guys already know this, or just because I wanted to prove a point to Trish, and they're like, yeah, we do, but can you show us? Just go through it. They want to know. Here's what happens first. Here's what happens second. You get pre-qualified. We go looking at houses. We send it to the attorneys, blah, 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 blah. 13 is closing day. So the fact that you have a plan shows that you're a professional, shows that you're the expert, and it shows that you're going to walk them through the whole transaction, because they have a lot of noise going on, right? They're getting their relatives saying this, and their moms and dads are saying you should do that. Their aunts are saying this. Their friends are saying that. Here, you're showing them exactly what needs to be done. Here's a checklist. When you're making sure you give them great service, you get them under contract. Now what? Now you got to make sure that you service them correctly. So we have a whole checklist, and I'm sorry that you can't see it that well, but you could take a picture of it and probably zoom in. But it has on there like executed offer, sending it to the attorney, making sure the escrow has been cleared. And if you see all the initials there, TR is my assistant, Trish Rulson. WM is Willie Miranda. So if you don't have an assistant, then you are the assistant. And that means that your name is going to be on every one of these boxes. And that's okay. That's how I was when I first started. But if you want to scale your business, you're going to need help, and you're going to need a process, and you're going to need to train them. Here's what you train them on. Here's the things that I need you to take care of so I can go out and sell more houses. Right? And right down to buying a closing gift, making sure that she asked them for the testimonials, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So that's the buyer side of things. And we have a buyer presentation, which I'm not going to get into today because we don't have enough time, but we will do a future call where I'll actually walk you through my listing presentation and my buyer presentation, which I feel really sets you apart from the competition. And then you have a close plan. What are you going to do after you close and you're at that closing table and you get your check and you say, okay, great, we'll see you later. Good luck in your new home. You want to call them the next day. You want to call them a week later. Check it with them 30 days later. If you gave them a vendor's name or something like that, send them a personal note. And then every year you put it in your follow-up system to call them on the month of their anniversary. It doesn't have to be the day, but on the month. Hey, can you believe it's, I just had one the other day, 17 years. Can you believe it's been 17 years since you bought that house? Like, that's the type of relationships you want to build with your database, okay? And I can go on and on and on about the stories on this, but this close plan has gotten me a lot of referrals because not always things are great in their house a day later, 30 days later. I had one guy, his keys didn't fit any of the doors, and his wife was freaked out, didn't sleep the whole night because she thought people had their keys. I had my locksmith go over. I paid the bill, $170, and that guy gave me 3 other referrals, and each of those referrals said exactly what I did with the keys, right? They said, "Oh, it was so nice what you did with the keys," because that meant a lot to the person that was referring me, and they all knew about the key story. So, but I would never have known that if I didn't make a follow-up call the day after closing. Gifts, great book, John Ruhlin. I think I've said this before. Giftology, great book on gift. You don't want to be, you want to make them emotional, not promotional. Emotional, when they're selling their home, it's an emotional transaction. Even buying a home, right? So for buyers, we take a front photo of the home. We put this nice wooden frame. You go on Etsy, and you can get this nice wooden frame for like $80, and that's a great closing gift for a buyer. The home that they're buying, right? Our first home. And it says on there, the whoever family, and with the address. When a seller, right, you have Snapfish books that you can use to the right. I got to say, I think we lost track, but it's like 13 out of 15 that we gave out was tears at the closing table. People love this. I gave them bottles of wine. I gave them gift cards. I gave them all kinds of stuff. Thank you, Willie. Thank you. That's nice. But when I give the Snapfish book of the house that they raised their family in over the last 20 years, very emotional, right? And that cost me about, with the coupon that Trish does, I think like $25. $25. Snapfish.com. And here's
That's
some
a
other
great idea.
promotional
That's
items.
a great idea.
Like the Cutco knife with your name on it. You can get it in their name. It's more emotional. You have cutting boards. Yeti mugs go over pretty well, especially in Florida. Personal labels, return labels, these type of things. All right. Real quick, working with sellers, kind of the same thing, right? But we want to have a pre-list email. Before we go on a listing appointment, if I know I have a listing appointment tomorrow, they're getting this email. And I'm giving them information on my home seller guide, meet my team, my biography, all kinds of stuff that they're getting this email on. And the hard copy of that email is what's in this blue box. I have a hard blue box that if I have a couple more days, or if it's a higher end listing, I'm sending this blue box with all this information in it. Relocation services, our home seller guide, my book that I wrote, things about me, customer testimonials. It's going in this hard case with my card, and I'm dropping it off, having it hand delivered or FedEx it out to them so that they're getting information with me before I meet with them. And you'd be surprised, it used to be, stats show that 77% of people only interview one agent. 72% only interview one agent, and 16% more do two, and that's it. But I'm finding that we're going on some of these listing appointments now where you're up against 3, 4, 5 agents. So because it's so competitive out there, that you need to set yourself apart. So what are you sending them ahead of time? Are you sending them an email like this? And again, it's just Dropbox links. That's all that is. Nothing crazy. They click on the link and it goes to the Dropbox link.
And why it's important, I'm gonna interrupt you for a minute. Why it's important to spend this kind of money. You want to get these listings. These listings are worth a lot of money to you.
Yeah.
But what are you proving to these sellers that you're doing for them? You have to prove that you're a marketer. You're a better marketer than anybody else. Well, that starts with marketing yourself.
Yep. And that's what they say, Dawn. I've had some
Yeah.
people say to me, very impressed, and I'll say, did the other agent show you any of this stuff? No. I'm very impressed. Like, if you market yourself this way, I can't even imagine what you're going to do for our home.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So there's the timeline for sellers. Same thing. All right. Go over to timeline with them. Moving checklist is in our home seller guide. So all that stuff is in there. Again, you can go to Etsy and print these out. Make it your own. Go on Canva. Put your face on it. We have a listing presentation. Again, that's another separate call. Actually going through who I am, our background, our team, what we do, all of our marketing. Before we even get into price, we go over all that stuff. And it really, because that's what they're hiring you for, right? Think about this for a minute. Cost is only an issue in the absence of value, right? So for a listing or for a seller, their cost is the commission that they pay us, right? Whatever that is, 6, 7, 8 apples, whatever you guys charge, doesn't matter. But why is it that there's so many agents out there giving it away, right? I had an agent the other day, or a seller the other day, so well, so-and-so was going to do it for 3.5 apples. And I'm like, that's great. They probably should only charge you that. And the guy looked at me strange, and I'm like, did he show you all of these things that we're going to do? Because at the end of the day, the more eyes on your property, the better your property is marketed, the higher you're going to get, especially the multiple offer, especially in this environment. So if you're just going to have someone stick a sign in the lawn and throw you an MLS, good luck. You're leaving thousands of dollars on, right? And then I use these examples. This one went for $50,000 over. This one was a $75,000 over ask. It's because of the marketing. If they just threw it in an MLS, I don't know if they would have got that much. So what's that worth, right? There's a seller checklist. Same thing. We do it on the seller side. So we want to give great service to the seller, and that goes very well. We got a great process. So again, going back to the basics, great buyer process, great seller process, and obviously your lead generation process. Negotiations, real quick. A couple great resources here that I've used over the years. Negotiating skills for salespeople. Zig Ziglar, one of the best salespeople in the world. Listen to him on YouTube. Just Google him. Great content. YouTube, he's all over YouTube. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, another great book. And then Getting to Yes, right? Negotiating agreements without giving in. Like, we have to negotiate our commissions too, right? We have to negotiate who we are and the value we bring. So this is something that we need to do, but we also need to fight for our sellers and our buyers. And then you have, Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, there's a bunch of scripts and dialogues on there as well that you can look up. Multiple offer tips. Again, I won't get into all of these right now, but how are you going to fight for your buyers, right? If you could show them like, hey, I have a whole arsenal here, getting your pre-approval letter right, escalation clauses, shortening a contingency time frame, increasing the down payment, inspection waivers, like these are all things that we can do to make your offer stand out amongst the crowd. And you need to show them that you have this system, right? And this is like, roof examples and stuff like that. You can give them different examples, but, give an example like on this, if a roof came up for a major defect, are you going to let your seller just give a credit of $20,000 like I gave you? No. Listen to what the other agent tells you. Stay calm. Don't freak out. Don't tell them there's no way my seller is going to give you anything for that roof. There's nothing wrong. Just listen to what they have to say. Clarify it. Okay, so basically everything else is great except for that one leak in the roof, right? Okay, great. Let me go ahead and solve the objection. I'm going to go call a roofer. We're going to find out who installed it. We're going to get another roofer in there. And then I'm going to call you back. And then when I call you back, number 4 is, here's the solution. I found the guy that installed it. He went back, had to be, something with the flashing, not a big deal. My seller is going to cover the cost and we're going to move on. Okay. But a lot of times, got a leak in a roof, all of a sudden the roof is bad. Inspections put on there is beyond its useful life because it's leaking, and it's not. Roof's only 15 years old. So these are things that you need to make. This is why they're hiring you, right? And this is why you need to read those books and really sharpen your negotiation skills on commissions, negotiations, inspections, you name it. Okay, the last piece here, bringing it home, coaching, training, and accountability. We have accountability groups that we do in our office with our agents. We also have accountability groups that we do for coaching. And basically, you could take a picture of this, but this is really the guidelines and the expectations. We meet once a week for 6 weeks. There's no talking, there's no cell phones, there's no texting, no side talk. We're there to help each other in our businesses, and we go around the room and we figure out, what do you want to accomplish, Don, in the next 6 weeks? Don says, well, you know what? I've been talking about this geographic farm forever. I want to have a geographic farm plan all in place and executed by the end of 6 weeks for my neighborhood. Okay, great. Bob, what's yours? Bob says he wants to do an email campaign. Okay, Chris, what's yours? All right, and you go around the room. And then we figure out what we're going to do this week to get us closer to that macro goal. Right? We got a lot of micro goals to get us to the macro goal. So 2 or 3 things, great. We meet the following week. But before we leave that room that first week, we get partners. And those partners communicate with each other all week. So every day I'm calling Dawn. Hey, Dawn, how you doing on your geographic farm? Ah, crap, I didn't do anything today. Or she might say, no, I just pulled a list of all the names, right? I just found information on every door direct mailing, whatever. So that when we come back a week later to sit down, she can now report that she did this, this, and that. Okay, what's the next week going to be? Week 2, we're going to switch partners, and now you have a new set of micro tasks to get you closer to your macro task, right? So I'm going through it kind of fast, but my point is that at the end of 6 weeks, Dawn's going to be very happy because she's going to have her whole geographic farm done. Everything is going to be executed. Everything is going to be out in the mail, and she's going to start getting results. And that's what accountability is all about, right? No different than, like I said, going to a gym and, having a trainer that's going to weigh you every 2 weeks and you have to send all your stuff to. It's that accountability. And unfortunately, a lot of times we will do more for others than we'll do for ourselves. And that's where accountability comes in. And it's been very good. So if you don't have an accountability group that you can start and do this, then find an accountability partner. But get an accountability person that you're working with because it does make a huge difference. Coaching and training, right? Attending company events, local and outside area events, listening to podcasts, coming on webinars like this. Our masterclass, I'm going to give you information on that every Wednesday. Or every other Wednesday, we do a masterclass that you can sign up for. It's free. And then the last one is getting a coach, right? Actually investing in getting a coach. I was talking to one of my agents the other day. I think she pays, I don't know, $1,000 a month for a coach. It's $12,000 a year. She made $450,000 last year, right? At $12,000 is a drop in a bucket to the value that she got for being accountable to someone each and every other week and growing her business. Right? She went from
If you're willing to
$150,000
invest
to over
and spend the
$400,000.
money,
What's that?
you're serious. If you're willing to invest and spend the money, you're a serious player.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that everyone who wants to do well in this business should think of themselves as a serious player.
Okay, so our masterclass, if you guys want to go on, it runs through December 20th this year. And like I said, it's from 1 to 2 p.m. You can go to blueprintclassroom.com to sign up. It's free. It's a GoToWebinar. You don't have to put your face or you're not on Zoom. And if you want to listen to the recordings of that, you go to Facebook. The Facebook page is Real Estate Masterclass Blueprint. Real Estate Masterclass Blueprint on Facebook, and you can get the recordings of that. Only open to realtors, so just fill out the form and join the group. And there's our agenda. What do we go over in that masterclass? We go over lead gen. We go over using social media, module 2, module 3, sellers, module 4, buyers, contract to close on number 5, and a repeat referral business. Isn't that funny? We just went over all those different things, but we deep dive. And this is just kind of an overview today, but we really deep dive on each and every one of those topics. And I share with you what we do in our own business, right? And then there it is, Real Estate Blueprint Masterclass. That's the actual Facebook group right there. Real Estate Blueprint Masterclass. Take a picture of it, join the group. And again, you can listen to all the recordings. And a lot of times we'll have copies of the letters, postcards. We put them in file format for you to download. And then my free gift for you, as I do on every call, is a PDF copy of my book. Just go to freewilliestuff.com to download that PDF. But also you'll get a bunch of videos, tools, templates, newsletter templates, all the different things that I use in my business that you can use in your business by just basically swiping and deploy. Don't reinvent it. It's already there for you, and it works. So I only share things that work. I don't share things that are just thoughts in my mind or things I think that will be good. I'm sharing things that I do in my business today, 2023, that work, and that's what I'm giving back to you guys. So that's it. Sorry, I went a little over, but I wanted to make sure I got through all that content, and I'm free for any questions if everyone has any.
Oh, totally worth it. Such great information. Thank you, Willie. You are absolutely fantastic. Anybody got any questions? We did answer a few questions along the way that people had. So I'm not sure, but anybody got any questions for Willie? Anything they want to bring up? And if you do, just put it in that chat there. If you think of it after the fact, send us an email. Willie, give out your email there.
Yeah, so the
Go
email.
to freewilliestuff.com.
Yeah, just the best place would go is just go to my email, wmiranda at mrgteam.com, and just go on there. I mean, you just Google my name, Willie Miranda, and you'll find me there. And my cell phone, if you want to text me, is best, 518-376-1073.
Someone's asking how did they get the slides?
I'll forward a copy. I mean, if they want to send me an email, I'd be more than
Just
happy
send you
to
an email, yeah.
Write it
request
best for now.
yeah.
Send you a Dropbox.
So Russ, send Willie an email. All right, awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody coming out today. We'll see you next time at the next Ask the Experts. And if you need anything, just always let us know. We'll talk to you real soon. Thank you.